For decades, Canada has struggled to replace its aging CF-18 Hornet fighter jets, first introduced in the early 1980s. These aircraft have been the backbone of Canadian air defence, flying countless missions at home and abroad, but time has taken its toll. These jets have served well, but are now outdated and costly to maintain. Keeping them operational requires increasing resources, and spare parts are becoming harder to find as the years go by. The need for a new fighter is urgent, not just for fiscal reasons, but for national security and to fulfill Canada's commitments to NATO and NORAD. Modern threats demand advanced technology and reliability, and Canada must be ready to respond alongside its allies. Political indecision and shifting priorities have turned the search into a saga, with each government restarting the process. Years of debate and shifting requirements have delayed progress, frustrating both military leaders and the public. The stakes are high. The decision impacts not just the Air Force but also training, infrastructure and the domestic economy. Choosing a new fighter will shape jobs, technology and Canada's aerospace industry for generations. Now, in 2026, the presumed successor, the American F-35 Lightning II, faces a serious challenge. While the F-35 offers cutting-edge capabilities, questions remain about cost, delivery timelines, and long-term support. Sweden's Saab has re-entered the race with a bold proposal for its Gripen E fighter, promising a new approach to defense procurement. The Gripen E offers advanced features and a partnership model that could benefit Canadian industry. The choice Canada makes now will define its air force and its global role for decades to come. This decision is about more than just aircraft. It's about sovereignty, security, and the future of Canadian defence. The F-35A Lightning II was long seen as the natural replacement for the CF-18, promising to bring Canada's Air Force into a new era of advanced technology and global interoperability. With its cutting-edge stealth, next-generation sensors, and networked warfare capabilities, the F-35 seemed to offer unmatched advantages for modern defense. But the program's costs have soared dramatically, from an initial estimate of $19 billion in 2023 to a staggering $28 billion by 2025, and experts warn that even more funding will be needed to achieve full operational capability. This ballooning price tag, combined with the F-35's tightly controlled, US-dominated ecosystem, set off alarm bells in Ottawa and across the Canadian defence community. All maintenance, diagnostics and software updates are routed exclusively through American systems, leaving Canada dependent on US approval for even the most routine or critical operations. Canadian industry would be relegated to supplying components, with little access to the F-35's core technology or the ability to perform independent maintenance, limiting both economic benefits and national autonomy. This model stands in stark contrast to past projects, like the CF-18, which helped build up Canada's aerospace sector and fostered homegrown expertise. In 2025, Prime Minister Mark Carney's government responded to mounting concerns by launching a formal review of the F-35 deal, even though a contract for 16 jets had already been signed. Spiraling costs and growing worries over Canadian sovereignty put the entire fighter jet program in doubt, sparking heated debate among politicians and defense experts alike. The F-35 was no longer a foregone conclusion, and its future in Canada's skies suddenly seemed uncertain. Canada was now ready to reconsider what it truly needed from its next-generation fighter, and what it expected from its international partners in terms of technology, sovereignty, and industrial participation. The door was open for a new conversation, one that could reshape the future of Canadian air power for decades to come. As doubts grew over the F-35, Canada invited Sweden's Saab to repitch its Gripen E fighter. Saab's offer was transformative, not just jets, but a full technology transfer and genuine partnership. Canada would assemble the aircraft domestically, with Bombardier potentially leading, and establish local maintenance and overhaul facilities. Most revolutionary, Canada would gain sovereign access to the Gripen's software and source code, enabling independent upgrades and integration of new weapons. This autonomy would let Canada adapt its fleet to its own needs, breaking the cycle of foreign dependence. Saab's proposal could support over 12,000 high-tech jobs, and even allow Canadian-made Gripens to be exported to allies. The vision Canada as a producer and exporter, not just a consumer. It was a compelling alternative to the F-35's restrictive model. News of Canada's serious engagement with Saab sent shockwaves through Washington, catching many US officials off guard. The announcement was more than just a procurement update. It was a signal that Canada was willing to challenge the status quo in North American defense. The Pentagon's concern wasn't about the Gripen's capabilities, but the precedent a Canadian defection from the F-35 would set. If Canada, a close and trusted ally, could break ranks, what would stop others from reconsidering their own commitments? Canada is a Five Eyes member and a key NORAD partner. If it chose a non-US fighter with open architecture, other allies might follow. The decision could ripple through the alliance, prompting debates about sovereignty, interoperability, and the future of joint operations. This would challenge the US model of centralized control over allied air forces, potentially weakening the cohesion that has defined Western military partnerships for decades. A Canadian-Swedish partnership could inspire others to seek deals prioritizing sovereignty and independence, rather than simply following Washington's lead. It could mark a turning point in how smaller nations approach defense procurement. The US responded with warnings about alliance cohesion, widely seen as pressure tactics. Behind closed doors, American officials lobbied hard to keep Canada in the F-35 program, emphasizing the risks of fragmentation. Rising American protectionism only heightened the tension, fueling Canadian debates about economic independence and the need to diversify partnerships beyond the US. For Washington, Canada's move threatened a defense industrial strategy decades in the making, one that relied on allied nations buying American to maintain technological and economic dominance. The Gripen E's open architecture philosophy directly challenges the status quo, offering flexibility and control that many countries find increasingly attractive in a rapidly changing world. Allies are watching closely, and the outcome could reshape global defense relationships, influencing procurement decisions and strategic alliances for years to come. The stakes are bigger than just one fighter jet. Canada's decision could redefine what it means to be an independent ally in the 21st century. The Gripen E isn't just a strategic or industrial choice. It's uniquely suited to Canada's geography and needs. Designed for efficiency and survivability, it excels in harsh climates and can operate from short, makeshift runways, ideal for Canada's vast remote regions. Its advanced electronic warfare suite and low operating costs make it perfect for patrolling the Arctic and dispersed bases. The Gripen's state-of-the-art radar, sensor fusion and networking allow it to act as a command node, sharing tactical data across platforms. Unlike the F-35's focus on physical stealth, the Gripen uses electronic warfare and smart networking to outmaneuver threats. For Canada, whose main mission is defending its own airspace, the Gripen's flexibility and ruggedness are a perfect fit. It's a fighter built for the realities of the Great White North. The Gripen deal is the centerpiece of a growing Canada-Sweden partnership. Both nations are northern trade-oriented democracies committed to multilateralism and a rules-based order. In late 2025, they formalized a strategic partnership covering defense, AI, critical minerals, and green tech. Swedish and Canadian leaders emphasize shared values and reciprocity. Canada wants ownership of key technology and balanced trade. Bilateral trade has nearly doubled since 2016, laying the groundwork for deeper collaboration. The Gripen deal is more than a military contract. It's a catalyst for a broader alliance. Together, Canada and Sweden are forging a powerful new axis of northern democracies. Canada's fighter choice could transform NATO's strategic landscape. For years, NATO interoperability meant buying US systems like the F-35. Choosing the Gripen E, NATO-compatible but non-US, would prove that open standards and secure data links can achieve true interoperability. This would empower European allies to pursue their own defense strategies and strengthen the European pillar of NATO. A Canadian Gripen would boost the jet's global profile, encouraging others to seek similar deals. Breaking the F-35's near monopoly could drive innovation, lower costs, and create a more resilient alliance. Canada's decision could make NATO more adaptable and less dependent on any single nation. The fighter jet debate is about more than hardware. It's about Canada's sovereignty and future. Canada is pivoting toward a doctrine of national control, industrial independence, and strategic autonomy. The F-35 controversy exposed the risks of foreign-controlled technology for critical defense assets. Saab's proposal, with full technology transfer, gives Canada leverage to demand true partnership. This new path invests in domestic skills and innovation, creating a virtuous cycle for the economy and security. It's a bold move, requiring long-term commitment and diplomatic finesse. But by asserting independence, Canada isn't abandoning allies. It's becoming a stronger, more capable partner. The choice will define Canada's role in the 21st century, sovereign, confident, and in control of its destiny. Canada's fighter jet decision is a historic crossroads, more than a choice between two aircraft. It's a choice between integration in a US-led system and a new model of strategic autonomy and partnership. The F-35's escalating costs and restrictions forced a national reckoning over sovereignty and value. If Canada chooses the Gripen E, it will signal to the world that middle powers can prioritize independence without sacrificing alliance commitments. The decision will shape the Air Force and aerospace industry for generations. Whether it's the Gripen or a renegotiated F-35, Canada has established a new principle. Partners, not dependents. Canada is forging a new path, one where it is both a loyal ally and the sovereign master of its own defense.